Every Washington quarter has a story that goes beyond its face value. These coins reflect the changing history, economy, and artistry of the United States. Some are ordinary, others are rare and valuable, but each one carries hidden details that collectors hunt for. Check your change carefully, because one simple quarter could be worth far more than you imagine. The 1980 Washington quarter stands as a key issue from the modern clad era, representing a shift from precious metal to practicality in American coinage. By 1980, quarters were no longer made of silver, but of a copper-nickel composition bonded to a pure copper core. This change reflected the rising cost of silver during the late 1960s and 1970s and marked a new generation of durable circulation coins. The 1980 quarter still carries the familiar design of George Washington, a proud continuation of a tradition that began in 1932. The obverse of the coin features the classic bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His portrait faces left, framed by the inscriptions, "Liberty," above, and "In God We Trust," to the left. The date, 1980, appears below his neckline, anchoring the design in its modern era. On the reverse, the bald eagle remains the centerpiece, its wings spread wide while perched on a bundle of arrows symbolizing strength. Olive branches lie below the eagle, representing peace. The words, "United States of America," and "E pluribus unum," encircle the top, with "quarter dollar" positioned at the bottom. The design remains one of the longest-running and most recognizable in U.S. coin history. The coin's composition consists of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel over a pure copper core, weighing 5.67 grams. It measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, the same as earlier silver issues. This composition provides durability while keeping production costs low. The 1980 quarter was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia issue carries no mint mark, while the Denver coin bears a small D to the right of Washington's ponytail. Over 518 million quarters were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and nearly 518 million more at Denver, bringing the total to more than 1 billion pieces. Such high mintage numbers make circulated examples very common today. You can still find 1980 quarters in pocket change more than 4 decades later, often with only moderate wear. Despite their abundance, gem-quality uncirculated coins remain surprisingly challenging to locate because of bag marks and weak strikes that were common in mass production. In circulated condition, most 1980 quarters are worth their face value. However, uncirculated pieces graded MS-66 or higher can command $15 to $50, depending on strike quality and luster. Exceptional examples graded MS-67 have sold for hundreds. The record auction price for a 1980D Washington quarter is $1,560 for a superb gem certified by PCGS, showcasing brilliant surfaces and strong details. Proof versions, struck in San Francisco, feature mirror-like fields and frosted designs. These are worth around $5 to $15 depending on condition. While the 1980 issue lacks major varieties, collectors often seek coins with full strikes on the eagle's feathers or strong definition in Washington's hair. These traits set apart average coins from premium mint state specimens. Some minor die cracks, doubling, or rim cuds also exist and can attract additional attention from error specialists. The 1980 quarter represents the economic and cultural shifts of late 20th century America. The nation had left the silver standard behind, adapting to modern minting technology and growing circulation demands. This coin circulated through an era of inflation, energy crises, and rapid technological change, making it a quiet witness to the times. Though common, the 1980 Washington quarter remains a significant part of numismatic history. It bridges the gap between classic silver coinage and today's modern issues. For collectors, it serves as an accessible, yet meaningful reminder of America's evolving monetary system. Whether found in spare change or preserved in mint state, the 1980 quarter stands as a durable symbol of national identity and everyday American life. The 1962 Washington quarter represents one of the final years of true silver coinage in the United States before the shift to clad compositions in 1965. Struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, this quarter carries both numismatic and intrinsic value, connecting collectors to an era when American coins still held real precious metal content. The 1962 issue remains highly collectible, especially in well-preserved mint state or proof condition, and marks a closing chapter in the long tradition of silver coinage that began with the nation's founding. The obverse of the 1962 quarter continues John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington, first introduced in 1932. The design shows Washington facing left, with Liberty at the top and In God We Trust to the left. The date, 1962, rests below the bust. The reverse features the striking image of a bald eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing strength balanced by peace. Around the design, the inscriptions United States of America and E Pluribus Unum appear above, while quarter dollar anchors the bottom. The 1962 Washington quarter was struck at two locations: the Philadelphia Mint, which produced around 36 million coins, and the Denver Mint, which struck more than 127 million pieces. The Denver Mint coins carry a small D mint mark located on the reverse beneath the wreath. Both issues were widely circulated across the United States, and while they remain common in worn condition, uncirculated coins with full mint brilliance are in demand among collectors. In circulated condition, a typical 1962 quarter sells for around $6 to $8 based on silver value alone. In uncirculated grades, prices climb depending on luster and strike sharpness. A bright, fully struck example in MS-65 can bring $25 to $40, while near-perfect specimens graded MS-67 can reach $400 or more. The record auction price for a 1962 D Washington quarter is an impressive $18,000 for a flawless PCGS MS-67 Plus coin with full frosty luster and superb eye appeal. Proof versions, struck exclusively in Philadelphia, are equally appealing to collectors. The U.S. Mint produced over 3 million proofs that year, featuring mirror-like fields and frosted devices. Deep cameo examples with sharp contrast can sell for $100 to $300, depending on condition and certification. The 1962 issue also has a few minor die varieties and strike differences. Some coins display doubled lettering or repunched mint marks, which add modest premiums. However, quality and preservation remain the primary value drivers for this date. Collectors particularly appreciate pieces with strong definition in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, as these details often show weakness in lower quality strikes. The historical context of 1962 adds further appeal. America was in the heart of the Cold War, the economy was strong, and confidence in the U.S. dollar remained high. Coins like the 1962 quarter circulated heavily, reflecting everyday life in a growing nation. Few could have predicted that just 3 years later, silver would vanish from circulating coinage due to rising costs and economic pressures. Today, the 1962 Washington quarter stands as a bridge between two eras, representing the last generation of silver coins that Americans use daily. Its elegant design, high silver purity, and historical significance make it a favorite among collectors building complete Washington quarter sets. Whether held for its silver content, its artistry, or its nostalgic link to pre-1965 America, the 1962 quarter continues to shine as a tangible piece of enduring U.S. coinage history. The 1965 Washington quarter stands at a turning point in United States coinage history. It marked the first year the Mint removed silver from regular circulation quarters, changing forever the composition of one of America's most familiar coins. Prior to 1965, quarters were struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. But as silver prices rose sharply, the cost of production exceeded the coin's face value. The U.S. Mint responded by introducing the new copper-nickel clad quarter, with a copper core and an outer layer of nickel. This change ended a long era of precious metal coinage, making 1965 a defining year for modern U.S. money. The Washington quarter design, created by sculptor John Flanagan in 1932, continued unchanged in 1965. The obverse features George Washington's right-facing bust, Liberty across the top, In God We Trust to the left, and the date, 1965, centered below his chin. The reverse depicts the proud American eagle with wings spread, clutching a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches. Above the eagle rests the national motto, E pluribus unum, while United States of America and quarter dollar encircle the design. Even though the metal composition changed, the familiar look helped the public accept the new coin quickly. The Philadelphia Mint produced an estimated 1.8 billion 1965 quarters, an enormous number that reflected the growing demand for circulating coinage. The Mint even postponed using mint marks that year to discourage hoarding, as people were saving silver coins in huge quantities. As a result, no 1965 quarter carries a mint mark, regardless of where it was made. While most examples entered circulation immediately, a small number were struck on leftover 90% silver planchets, creating one of the most sought-after transitional errors in the series. Collectors value these silver error 1965 quarters far above regular issues. A genuine 1965 silver quarter weighs about 6.25 grams, compared to 5.67 grams for the clad version. These pieces can sell for several $1,000s when certified by PCGS or NGC. One famous silver error example in Mint State 62 sold for more than $9,000, while higher-grade pieces have crossed the $10,000 mark. Regular copper-nickel versions in mint state condition are also collectible, especially those with strong luster and clean surfaces. For circulated clad coins, values remain modest, usually around face value to a few dollars for uncirculated rolls. However, high-grade coins certified MS-67 or MS-68 can fetch $150 to $500 due to their scarcity and pristine condition. Deep cameo or proof-like strikes from early planchets bring even more attention. The record auction price for a top-graded 1965 quarter reached $12,650, proving that even modern coins can deliver surprises for sharp-eyed collectors. The 1965 Washington quarter reflects an economic shift in the United States during the mid-20th century. Rising metal costs, inflation, and the need for durable coinage led to a complete redesign of U.S. coin composition. This single year marked the beginning of the clad era, which continues to define U.S. circulating coinage today. Collectors often view the 1965 issue as a bridge between two eras, the end of the Silver Age and the start of modern production. It also began a series of experiments in minting technology that would influence later coins like the bicentennial quarters and state quarters program. The 1965 quarter holds historical and symbolic weight far beyond its face value. It represents adaptation, technological change, and a government responding to economic pressure. Finding a 1965 Washington quarter in exceptional condition or discovering a rare silver error remains a thrill for collectors. Each coin tells a story of transition, from precious metal to practicality. Over time, the 1965 quarter has earned its place as one of the most important modern issues in U.S. numismatic history. A small coin that reflects a major national change and continues to captivate collectors who value both history and rarity. The 1966 Washington quarter captures a pivotal time in American coinage history. It was part of a major shift when silver disappeared from circulating U.S. coins. The Coinage Act of 1965 had ended the use of 90% silver in quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel composition. The 1966 issue reflects that change and symbolizes the transition to modern coin production. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1966 quarter carries no mint mark. During this period, the mint suspended mint marks to discourage coin hoarding as Americans rushed to save silver coins. Each 1966 quarter was struck from a clad alloy, an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core. This new metallic mix gave the coin a lighter color and distinct ring compared to its silver predecessors. The obverse features John Flanagan's portrait of George Washington, facing left, with Liberty above his head, and In God We Trust to the left. The date, 1966, rests below the bust. On the reverse, the familiar heraldic eagle design remains unchanged, clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing strength and peace. United States of America arcs across the top. E pluribus unum appears above the eagle, and quarter dollar runs along the bottom. The total mintage exceeded 821 million coins, one of the highest in the Washington quarter series at the time. This large output makes the 1966 quarter common in circulation, but high-grade uncirculated examples can be valuable due to production quality issues. Many 1966 quarters show weak strikes, surface marks, or planchet flaws, because of rushed minting conditions during the nationwide coin shortage of the mid-1960s. In circulated condition, a 1966 quarter is worth its face value. However, in mint state, values rise. An MS-65 coin might bring around $10 to $20, while top examples graded MS-67 can sell for several $100s. The record auction price for a 1966 quarter is over $1,400 for an exceptionally well-struck specimen with sharp details and full mint luster. Collectors also seek rare mint set and special mint set SMS versions. Since no official proof sets were issued between 1965 and 1967, the mint created special mint sets to replace them. These coins were struck with greater care, showing mirror-like fields and frosted details. A 1966 SMS quarter with strong contrast between frosted devices and mirrored fields can bring $50 to $200, depending on quality and eye appeal. Error coins from this year add more excitement. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and double-struck examples exist. A 1966 quarter struck on a silver planchet from leftover 1964 stock is extremely rare and worth thousands of dollars if verified. These transitional errors occur when old silver planchets were accidentally fed into presses making new copper-nickel coins. Historically, the 1966 Washington quarter represents a turning point in U.S. monetary policy. Inflation and rising silver prices forced the government to change coin materials. This move preserved circulating coinage and stabilized the economy during a turbulent decade. The decision shaped modern U.S. coin production and marked the end of an era for traditional silver coins. Collectors value the 1966 issue for its role in this transformation. It marks the beginning of the long copper-nickel era that continues today. Many coin enthusiasts keep it as a reminder of how economics reshaped American money. Its design stayed true to Washington's legacy while adapting to modern realities. In summary, the 1966 Washington quarter is not rare in numbers, but significant in meaning. It tells the story of a nation adapting to change, balancing tradition with necessity. For collectors, owning this coin connects them to the moment when silver left circulation and modern coinage began. High-grade mint state and SMS examples, especially with sharp details and full luster, remain the most desirable. This quarter stands as a true symbol of America's resilience and innovation in the face of change. The 1956 Washington quarter represents one of the last years of the classic 90% silver design before the transition to clad coinage in 1965. Struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, this quarter carries the legacy of early, post-war America, a period defined by economic growth and expanding prosperity. The 1956 issue reflects that optimism, with brilliant luster and strong silver content that make it a favorite among collectors today. The coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. His image faces left, modeled from Jean-Antoine Houdon's 18th century sculpture. The inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," frame the bust, while the date, 1956, appears below. The reverse shows a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, framed by olive branches that represent both strength and peace. The words, "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum" rest above, with $quarter at the bottom. The design's sharpness and detail make well-struck examples stand out under any light. Each 1956 quarter was composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 6.25 grams with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters. This precious metal composition makes it more than just collectible. It also carries intrinsic silver value. When silver prices rise, these older quarters often gain attention not only from numismatists, but also from investors seeking hard metal assets. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 44 million coins that year, while Denver struck around 32 million, making the combined total over 77 million pieces. Most circulated heavily during the late 1950s and early 1960s, before being pulled from circulation when silver coins disappeared after 1965. Despite this large mintage, finding coins in pristine mint state condition can be challenging due to bag marks and weak strikes common in that era. In circulated grades, 1956 quarters generally sell for their silver value, usually between $5 and $10 depending on market conditions. However, high-grade uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS66 or MS67 by PCGS or NGC, can command far higher prices. Brilliantly struck Denver mint coins with full mint luster and minimal abrasions can exceed $150. The highest auction record for a 1956 Washington quarter belongs to a spectacular PCGS MS67 Plus coin that sold for more than $4,500. Coins of that caliber show perfect surfaces, strong frost, and deep, mirror-like fields. Proof versions, struck in Philadelphia, are also popular with collectors. These proof coins have sharp details and polished fields, with values ranging from $25 to several $100s for deep cameo examples. Varieties and errors from 1956 include repunched mint marks and minor die clashes. While not extremely rare, they add character and appeal for dedicated Washington quarter enthusiasts. Some collectors also seek examples with strong strike and fully defined eagle feathers, a sign of quality that can distinguish average coins from exceptional ones. The 1956 quarter marks a time when American coinage still carried tangible value through its silver content. It was the final decade of true silver circulation, a connection to earlier coinage traditions, dating back to the 18th century. Holding one today offers a glimpse of post-war prosperity, solid craftsmanship, and enduring design. Every 1956 Washington quarter tells a story of transition, from silver money and everyday life to a new era of modern minting. Though millions were struck, finding one in top condition remains a challenge, and collectors continue to prize these pieces for their luster, metal purity, and timeless look. The 1956 quarter remains both a collectible artifact and a lasting reminder of when real silver still passed through American hands.